If you're watching this video, you've probably already heard about the recent Pokemon leaks. There is a crazy amount of information that has been leaked, and amongst them are some unused folk stories that have taken the internet by storm. And Pokemon's no stranger to its creepy lore. You know, for example, you have Drifloon stealing little kids.
Kind of like that Junji Ito one where he it's a balloon that just hangs people.
Right, exactly. So let's see what's going on here. Have either of you seen any Typhlosion memes or anything?
Typhlosion memes? No, I don't think so at all.
I don't even know what that is.
Okay. Cool.
That's a Somalian pirate, but don't worry about it.
Is he actually?
No.
Typhlosion's a Pokemon.
Oh.
I'm sorry, Jared.
I'm going in with an open mind.
And that's why I love you, man.
Am I reading the whole page?
Please.
That first one.
Okay. Theme. Original sin based on the current Pokemon world. In the distant past, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was still blurred, there was a woman and her companions. Every day they were bored, so they would often catch Slakoth. Living in the nearby forest, they played cruel games with their captured Slakoth, sometimes killing them for fun, gouging out their eyes, and cutting off their ears. One day, the woman was walking alone in the forest and saw a Slakoth hanging out from a tree. She climbed the tree to catch it, but slipped and injured herself. At that moment, a Vigoroth appeared. This Vigoroth had a torn ear. The woman, startled, tried to flee, but her injured leg hurt too much, and she couldn't move. The Vigoroth with the torn ear suddenly attacked her when it saw her. The woman lost consciousness. When she woke, she was in an unfamiliar place. Before her lay a clear lake surrounded by trees, from which many Slakoths and Vigoroths were hanging. All the Pokemon bore wounds somewhere on their bodies, marks left by the woman and her companions. Upon closer inspection, she noticed that some of the Slakoth hanging from the trees were corpses. They were the very Slakoth that the woman and her friends had killed and discarded. The Slakoths were throwing those corpses into the lake. Terrified, the woman tried to run away.
I thought she was all busted and couldn't run. I don't know how is she now running.
Actually, very, very fair point. I thought, yeah, she did have a busted leg. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the whole initial part of oh, well, I can't run. I might as well go to sleep, I guess.
No, yeah, that's fucking a fair point. She's just like, oh, I'm gonna run away now. I'm all good.
The woman tried to run away, but a Slaking appeared.
I think it's slacking.
Slacking? I was just like slack off, slake. This Slaking also had a torn ear. The woman realized that this was the same Vigoroth that she had seen earlier, and fear overwhelmed her, causing her to faint once more. When the woman regained consciousness, she found herself at the entrance of the forest near her home, surrounded by her friends. They carried her back to her house. Some time later, the woman gave birth to a child, but it wasn't a human child. It was a Slakoth. She intended to abandon it, but couldn't bring herself to do so. She stopped meeting with her friends and decided to raise the Slakoth. Huh? One day, her friends, concerned about her, visited the area near her home. They found the Slakoth sleeping there, the child of the woman. As they always did, they caught the Slakoth, stabbed it in the chest, and killed it. They took its corpse and headed to the woman's house. When she saw the slain Slakoth, the woman was overwhelmed with sorrow. She grabbed the Slakoth's body and ran into the deep forest. Her friends, shocked, chased after her. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the surroundings suddenly opened up, and they found the same clear lake from before. Around the lake were many Slakoth and Vigoroth. The woman stood before the lake, and holding the lifeless body of the Slakoth, she threw herself into the water. Afterwards, the woman's friends began to treat the Slakoth as companions, just as she had in her final moments.
Did she treat them as companions in her final moments, though? Yeah, I would say this bitch I haven't seen in years. is going out of her fucking mind. You know what I mean? She stopped talking to us, stopped hanging out with us, and now she's grabbing shit and jumping in fucking lakes. How am I supposed to be any of the wiser?
No, that's actually a very fair point.
That cannot be real.
No, this is confirmed.
But Nintendo would never make this.
I mean, that's why it never made it into the game. But it's
I'm shocked this was even a concept.
Yeah, and they just tore their ears off and shit.
What the hell?
Yeah, that's disturbing on a whole lot of levels.
I just love that was someone wrote that story on company time. It was on their company computer. This second one is the collapse of culture and relationships. There was a time when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was blurred. In a coastal village, there was a man. One day, as he was walking along the shore, he found a female Octillery washed up on the beach. The man had relations with the Octillery and then threw it back into the sea. The next day, he went to the same spot and found the same Octillery again. He once more had relations with it and threw it back into the sea as before.
So I see this is going to be a theme, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. One night, after several days had passed, the man had a dream. In the dream, the Octillery spoke to him. "I cannot come to you, but I will deliver our child to you. It is our child, yours and mine." The next morning, the man went to the place where he had met the Octillery. There, he found a boy. The man took the boy home and raised him. Time passed. The boy grew into a young man, and the father passed away. The young man was always lonely. One day, as the young man was walking along the shore, he saw a group of people playing in the distance. They all had very large swords in their hands as they danced. The young man approached the people, and as he got closer, he saw that Sharpedo were playing along the beach. When he tried to get even closer, the Sharpedo suddenly leapt into the sea all at once. However, one of the Sharpedo lingered, looking around 3 times before swimming away. At the spot where the Sharpedo had been playing, there was a large sword lying on the ground. It was a shape he had never seen before, and it was very sharp and pointed. The young man took the sword home. The next day, the young man took the sword and went into the forest. While walking through the forest, he encountered an Ursaring. He tried slashing at the Ursaring's mouth with the sword, and the mouth was easily severed. Next, he stabbed at the Ursaring's eyes, and they were easily pierced. Finally, the young man thrust the sword into Ursaring's chest, and the Ursaring died effortlessly. That day, the young man killed 30 Ursaring. After that, he always carried the sword with him, playing by injuring the Pokemon he encountered, or cutting off parts of their bodies. One autumn, while the young man was searching for firewood, he lost his way. After walking for a while, he stumbled upon an Ursaring den. Inside, there was an elderly Ursaring lying down. The elderly Ursaring looked at the young man and said, "Come inside." The young man hesitated, but as it was getting dark outside, he entered the den. Before long, people began to enter the den one after another, filling the room completely. Looking closer, he saw that all the people had scarred faces and some were missing their eyes. They were chattering among themselves, but the young man ignored them and fell asleep. At one point, he woke up to find the elderly Ursaring lying beside him. He fell asleep again. When he awoke once more, there were many people around, talking about something. Again, the young man ignored them and went back to sleep. When spring arrived, the elderly Ursaring spoke, "Do you want to go home? Then I shall send you home. When you return, a Wailord will soon be found near the village. Go there. We will send a man. You must leave the sword behind and bring a witness. Why did you do such things? Cutting faces and slicing off noses." The elderly Ursaring escorted the young man back to the village. Upon his return, the young man recounted everything that had happened to the villagers. The following morning, the young man took some villagers with him and headed to the shore. As they walked along the coast, they found a large Wailord. Nearby, on the beach, was a Teddy Ursa. When it noticed the young man, the Teddy Ursa hid in the forest, and a large Ursaring came out in its place. As the Ursaring charged at him, the young man tried to draw the sword he had hidden, but it got stuck, and he couldn't pull it out. So he rushed at the Ursaring with his bare hands. The young man and the Ursaring grappled, punching each other's faces. They strangled each other with all their strength, and so they choked each other to death, collapsing on top of one another. The villagers went back and told others what they had seen. That's it.
That's it. I thought it was gonna turn into. You remember that old Nintendo Resort game where you had the little swords
Oh,
and you just swung. I thought it was gonna turn into that for a second. You're just gonna walk into that fucking cave, just whacking at them and shit. Yeah.
Just fucking slicing up fucking Matt or whatever his name was.
Carelessly, effortlessly.
No, but this guy got a taste for killing a bear, and he's like, holy shit, I'm gonna do this all the time.
I am like shocked that these people are employed by Nintendo.
This is like such a waste of like manpower.
Although I gotta
like,
say, killing feels good. Once he killed one, he said, "I'm gonna have some more."
he was bloodthirsty. So he got a taste of it.
Nothing wrong with that. Also, Pokemon names are so dumb. I said what I said.
No, I don't think so. Is this the? Am I about to read the actual Typhlosion story?
Yes, sir.
Oh dear God. Theme: the relationship between humans and Pokemon / human-like ways of thinking. Long ago, when the boundary between Pokemon and humans was unclear, there was a village somewhere. One day, a girl from that village went into the mountains to gather firewood. She found well-dried, dead wood deep in the forest, so she kept going further in. Before she realized it, the sun was setting, and she had lost her way. Around her, there were droppings from a Typhlosion, which made the girl anxious. Just then, a man appeared from the other side of the forest. His face didn't resemble anyone from the village, but he was very handsome. The man said, "You must be lost, right? I know the way down the mountain. But with your pace, it would be midnight before we got there. I'll take you back tomorrow morning, so why don't you rest at my place tonight?" The girl had no choice but to agree to the man's suggestion. The man took her hand and began to walk. As evening fell, they arrived at a large cave. "This is my home. You must be hungry, right? Wait here." Saying that, the man went outside the cave. After he left, a red light shone from far away in the mountains, and there was the sound of trees swaying. Before long, the man returned, carrying many red berries. He said, "Eat this, then let's sleep for the night. Even if you wake up before I do, don't look at my face." The next morning, when the girl woke up, the man was still asleep. She honored their promise and stayed laying down, waiting. Before long, she fell back asleep. She was awakened by the man's voice. When she looked outside, the sun was already setting. "Today we'll eat green berries. Wait here." With that, he went out of the cave. After he left, the same red light shone from far away, and the sound of trees swaying echoed once more. By the time the sun had set completely, the man returned, carrying many green berries. He said, "Eat this, then let's sleep for the night. Even if you wake before I do, don't look at my face." The girl expressed her concern that her family would be worried and that she wanted to go home soon. The man yawned widely and tapped her on the head. At that moment, she completely forgot about her family and home. The two of them ate the green berries together and then fell asleep. The same routine continued, with them waking up when the sun had set, the man going out to gather berries, and the two of them eating and sleeping together. Eventually, the girl realized that the man was a Typhlosion. As winter approached, the Typhlosion dug deeper into the cave and said to the girl, "Go and gather wood for firewood. Break off the branches from the higher parts of tall trees." The girl tried to do as the Typhlosion instructed, but the tall trees scared her, so she could only climb the shorter ones. When she brought back some branches, the Typhlosion said, "That won't do. If it's not from higher branches, humans will find us." When the snow began to fall, the two of them lived in the depths of the cave, mostly sleeping. There was plenty of food. Occasionally, they would wake up, eat, and then go back to sleep. One day, when she awoke, the girl was holding a child. After several days and nights passed, the Typhlosion said, "Your father is looking for you, but you are my wife, so I can't return you. I will have to fight him." The girl pleaded, "Please don't do that. Don't kill my father. How can I live with you if you kill my family? You are a good person, so please stay here with me and sleep." "All right, let's stay here and sleep." The man nodded. The next night, the Typhlosion woke the girl and said, "Your father is close by. Go and see." When the girl went outside, a snowstorm was raging. She climbed a low tree and broke off a branch. When she returned to the cave, the Typhlosion was singing a song she had never heard before. You broke off a branch, didn't you? Soon your father will come here. I'm going to do something bad to your father. If I am killed, take my eyes, my voice, and my heart. Build a fire at the spot where I was killed and burn them. And while they burn, sing this song until the fire goes out. The girl said, Please don't do it. Don't kill my father. If anyone is to be killed, let it be you. Goodbye. We will never meet again. With those words, the Typhlosion went outside. After a while, there was a loud noise, and when the girl looked outside, she saw her father had killed the Typhlosion. She rushed out and said to her father, Father, you have killed my husband. I have been living with him all this time. He was my husband. Please give me my husband, the Typhlosion's eyes, voice, and heart. The girl built a fire at the place where the Typhlosion had been killed and put his eyes, voice, and heart into the flames. She sang the song the Typhlosion had taught her until the fire burned out. The girl's father built a small hut on the edge of the village for the girl and her child to live in. Eventually, spring arrived. The young men of the village often teased and tormented the girl and her child. It became worse over time, and one day they tried to drape a Typhlosion's pelt over them. The girl returned home and pleaded with her parents. Please tell the villagers to stop teasing us. If they put that pelt on us, we will surely become Typhlosion. We are already half Typhlosion as it is. Despite the parents' pleas, the villagers did not listen. In fact, they found it even more amusing and eventually draped the Typhlosion pelt over the girl and her child. At that moment, they howled loudly and vanished into the depths of the forest. The two were never seen again. And so, people came to understand Typhlosion are half human beings. I mean, if that's not a resolution, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, Typhlosions are half human beings, man.
That was the moral of the story, I think. Jared,
That was very
quiet.
well, because it's just like I just don't understand all of this sex. And
I
watch
agree.
Game of
No, I
Thrones.
agree with you.
I just like think like I love looking at the picture in the Discord like right now, like that's just like the official art of Typhlosion. Like imagine him just like laying down next to a girl being like, I'm gonna kill your father.
Yeah, like on top of everything that's already happened.
Like it's like, I love you so much. If your father finds me, he'll kill me. But you're my wife, so I'll kill him. When did they get married? Like what the fuck?
I don't know. She accepts that he's her husband is a little like, yeah, this is a little. So I had heard about the Typhlosion having like a half Typhlosion, half human baby, and it was perhaps not consensual. But I didn't know that there were multiple of these stories.
How did it even make it to live servers? That's what I want to know.
Literally.
How do you not just like scrub your shit out of? Yeah, that is a bad project. And then
Yeah, how
fucking
do you
throw
like
it in the
not
dumpster?
read it back and it's just like, you know what, maybe not. You know?
This was a bad move. And then, yeah, burn that shit.
People have been saying that Typhlosion has been canceled, and also that Slacking and Slakoth have been canceled. And I've also heard people saying Octillery in that group too, but I don't think Octillery did anything wrong. Am I wrong?
I mean, no.
Like some dude just like found it, had relations with it, as the story says, and then threw it back into the ocean multiple times.
Yeah, no, it didn't do anything wrong.
I don't think Octillery should be canceled. Octillery's a victim.
Oh yeah, well he's a victim. I don't know. It sounds like some of these are victims, like the bear, the Ursaring.
Oh, the
Ursaring. The Ursaring did something wrong.
No, the Ursaring just got like murdered a bunch of times.
Like 30 of them got killed. I don't know if he really did anything wrong.
I think he might have done something in revenge. I'm not positive though.
I'm sorry. Even though we just read it, I kind of committed to burning it out of my memory as soon as possible. Well, thank you for sharing, I guess.
Yeah, no, thanks for.
I guess.
Thanks for chilling. You know.
Yeah, no problem, man. Anytime you want to show us something horrible, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, are these people fired? Do we know or no? Do we even know?
I don't think so.
That's so crazy.
Do you think they should be fired, Jared?
Yes. Yes.
Devin, do you think they should be fired?
I think maybe they should like talk to somebody. I think maybe they should be more closely monitored, like when they're on the clock.
This is like bad like fan fiction.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's also like poorly written.
No, yeah, it's like not great. Want to be like a really creepy like meat canyon animation of like someone throwing a Typhlosion pelt on like the mom and the kid, and then them like horrifyingly transform into actual Typhlosions. That'd be so funny.
That'd be so funny.
I would laugh my ass off.
Hi. Hi. How are you? You have questions? Yes. I had a lot of questions. I'm sure you had a lot of questions, but rest assured, we're going to answer them right now.